Welcome to this tour of my old secondary school. This is the entrance to Pioneer Secondary Academy, previously known as Khalsa Secondary Academy. I will be the tour guide throughout this video, so make sure you please like, subscribe, and share, and stay tuned for a day in the life video out next week. Right now, we are making our way through the car park, and as you can see, we will be passing the Nishan Sahib. Here is the main entrance to the school. We will now be heading inside the reception. There is a seating area on the left. On the right is where we would go to sign in. When I used to study here, I absolutely loved the saying, "Excellence in all we do." This really made me want to work and try harder every day while I studied. Although I never needed to go to the medical room. This is the medical room if anybody was interested. Around the corner are some conference and boardrooms for the higher-ups. Normally, meetings, statement writing, and other important stuff would happen here. Always handy having an emergency exit right next to classrooms. Here is the iconic toilet where my Lynx deodorant went flying behind the lockers. Apparently it's still there till this very day. Speaking of lockers, the lockers is an iconic spot for doing push-ups. Speedy Singh will now demonstrate. Here is the art room for the enthusiastic future artists. With inside information, I have recently found that the art room has been extended, so that is something to look forward to. Right opposite the art room is the design and technology rooms. In the back of this room, another iconic push-up location was discovered by the calisthenics goat, Speedy Singh. He will now demonstrate.
I see a body with a booty, bitch, I'm fresh in.
This was also cheeky of Speedy Singh, but make sure you smash the subscribe button on his channel. Let's move on to the main practical room for design and technology. This is where all projects and techie machinery is kept. The machinery is only used under staff supervision, so no tomfoolery when you are on your ones. Anywho, let's move on to the next location. Speedy also has very iconic dip locations such as this metal bar next to this door. He will now demonstrate.
Be on the road to top, I still catch you with the local thugs. Could I run off the plug back?
When entering the drama room, you will be surrounded by hundreds of mirrors. Drama was never really my forte, so I never went in this room. So let's move on to the next room. This food tech room, on the other hand, had recently been renovated at the time, making it a state-of-the-art food tech room. If this tour has been long, don't you worry. The next stop will be the canteen where all the magic happens. Right ahead are the doors to the canteen. Here we can eat food at break and lunchtime. The canteen serves cheap and fresh, affordable food, snacks, and drinks. No students are allowed to be in the kitchen, so let's quickly fly out of here. There were a lot of memories in this canteen. Push-ups were done here, karate was taught here, even drama classes were taught here. A lot of things happened here. The view of the renovated courtyard gave the canteen a spark of light, creating an enjoyable view from inside. We will now make our way outside to the courtyard. There are a couple of tables to sit and eat at. This was a bit of both worlds if you like to eat outside as well. This courtyard is the most iconic part of Pioneer Secondary Academy. Anything green was a great touch to the courtyard. It really gave that natural look. Anywho, let's move on to the next room. We will need to cut through the canteen next. Around the corner is the French room. I never did French, but if you want to learn French, this is the room to go to. Okay, let's waste no more time and move on to the OLC. Here is many students' favorite room. From studying to watching YouTube vids to gaming on cool maths games, this room had the full package. What I actually meant was from studying to revising to going above and beyond, this room was the best place to study. Next are the RE Geography and History rooms. This is our religious education room, where we learn about faith, values, and respect. It's a place for discussion, reflection, and growing together. I used to sit way back in the room. This helped me study more efficiently. Right opposite this room is the history room. I have a story. Couple times while I was in the RE room, I overheard a lot of debating and shouting, but this is all part of the typical education you will receive in Pioneer Secondary Academy. Moving on down this long hallway, we will make our way towards the language rooms where Spanish and Punjabi is taught. First, let's have a look at the Punjabi room. Although I haven't studied this language through the school, I heard a lot of amazing things. From students crying to eventually being able to speak fluent Punjabi. It really brought a tear to my eye. The toilets are right in front of our classes. Lastly, let's move on to my favorite class, Spanish. If you choose Spanish, then be prepared for all the lovely teachers that will ensure you are taught in the highest standards. Personally, I had a great experience getting to know all 6-7 Spanish teachers that taught me. Here is another toilet if you were interested. With even more inside information, this is a new, fully refurbished Punjabi room. As this school is still Sikh ethos based, I found this news absolutely incredible. I encourage students from what I consider Khalsa Secondary Academy to take this language. Moving on to the second floor, we will now be taking the stairs towards a room which I call the assembly room. This here is a very iconic room if you are a OG Khalsa Secondary Academy student. With walls as windows, this was the perfect scenery to sit in assemblies. The best memory was the year 11 final day, when we sat listened to songs like Family Tree by Rams and looking at all the photos provided by students to the head teacher. This was shown on a massive 80-inch screen displaying multiple funny images of secondary school memories. For students who love secondary school so much, there was an opportunity to stay for 2 more years. This common room is the room where all the 6th formers would stay to study, try their hardest, go above and beyond. In Pioneer, there is no such thing as competing against your fellow students, but it's more like assisting and helping one another. So if you feel like you would need help in 6th form, then the perfect resources and teacher support is waiting here for you. Moving on to the pistol squats. Let's see Speedy Singh demonstrate. Moving on to the second common room. This common room isn't as common as the other. This common room may not have the same comfort as the other room with the blue sofas, but it does have some hardworking students who are putting pen to paper and excellence in all they do. The distance between rooms is short and require not much energy to go to, so this therefore reduced the impact of learning to students. Moving on to another IT room. This subject is very popular due to the incredible staff. Rumor has it that the back of this class is where the gamers are sat. Regardless which seat you are sat in, you will get 10/10 education guaranteed. Moving on to the science department, here is where we learn about atoms. Ignore the safety posters and pretend we all know what happened during the last experiment. We were told not to play with Bunsen burners while in the lab. Coincidentally, C1 also doesn't play with Bunsen burners too.
We playing with Bunsen burners.
Right next to the science rooms is the enterprise room. When learning BTech Enterprise, I really built on my entrepreneurial skills, along with teamworking skills. I was previously shy until I learned enterprise, which got me working more as a team, reducing my shyness. This school has really changed my life for the better. I will in the future use my skills to run my own business. Now let's quickly move on to the second science room. I again haven't been in this room, but apparently it's just like the first science room, so it's pretty much the same. Just another different professional science teacher teaching in a different located room. Next stop is the final science room. This may be a long walk to the classroom, but in Minecraft we call it a long run.
Long run.
Here's just a couple rooms students like I can't access, so we will skip them. We have finally made it. That long run was really dreadful. Anywho, here is the final science room. In my eyes, the best science room due to the size of the room. There were a lot of memories here. From teachers slapping the life out of rulers on tables, to waiting to collect my phone while my bus is leaving. I forgot to mention there were good memories like passing my exam here and winning a tenner. Good times, good times. Let's move on to the next part of the Pioneer Secondary Academy tour. I know this is the most important part of the tour. First, we would need to take our shoes off, wash our hands, and put on head covering if not done so already. Okay, now let's move on to the most important thing. Here is the Gurdwara. I'm not sure if it's still in this location, so it's therefore currently empty. On the other side, here is another room for storing shoes and washing hands. Moving on to the last section of the school. Around the corner is a staff member's office. This room is not for students, so please stay away unless you desire a after-school detention. Pretty nice view of the playground, though. Okay, now let's move on to the main part of the curriculum, maths. Let me not forget to mention, everybody watching this subscribe to a 1 Speedy. Let's now enter my maths room. Here we do stuff like algebra, measures, ratio and proportion, statistics and probability, fractions and more. This is the typical algebra you do in Key Stage 4. Here is another maths room. Some equations we do are straightforward, for example, adding a k to the o, but there are also other harder equations like 3 over b plus 2 over a minus b. Like Boogie B said, this is a serious algebra problem.
This is a serious algebra problem.
Anywho, let's move on to another maths room. I remember one time during a maths class, I was stuck on an equation and I couldn't figure out whether or not to carry my 15s or 22s. Then the maths teacher came and helped me, and I will never forget the support I got from the maths department. Moving on to another important curriculum topic, which is English. Here we read books like A Christmas Carol and Macbeth by Shakespeare. I found reading Macbeth very interesting, and that built upon my reading, writing, and grammar skills. I am disappointed that certain individuals, like a rapper called Fredo, find Shakespeare irrelevant, because I certainly do not.
I still ain't come across a time that Shakespeare was relevant.
This is another English room where we continue building our reading, writing, and discussion skills. Here you can also see the magnificent view of the courtyard. This helps the brain relax during classes and enhances students' ability to learn. This is the third English room, where we further develop our reading, writing, and communication skills, explore different texts and perspectives, practice expressing our ideas clearly, and build confidence in how we communicate with others. On to the final English room. Here I remember doing an English exam, and I remember getting 99 out of 100 marks in class for my English question. This is very relatable to a rapper called Santan Dave. He also got 99 out of 100.
I got 99 out of 100 marks in class on my English questions.
This is Rupert's office. In front of his office is a isolation corner which is covered in dust due to students showing immaculate behavior. While I studied at Khalsa, I never saw anybody at the isolation corner, but this would be where the naughty kids go when they have isolation. Here are some toilets and staff offices next to each other. For old time's sake, I had to show the most iconic room from Khalsa Secondary Academy. This room was the OGIT room. You may not recognize this room, but a lot of history was made in this room. From learning basic coding to creating flowcharts using realistic simulations on a software called Scratch. Mr. Plahi was so goated he even had his own website for coding. He really wanted the best education for his students. Here is another OG classroom next to Mr. Plahi's room. This room was another spare room for students if needed for lessons. That concludes our tour of the classrooms and learning spaces inside the school, where we explored the science labs, English rooms, and other areas designed to help students learn and grow. Now, we'll step outside to see the playground and outdoor areas, where students can enjoy fresh air, play games, and take a break between classes. You'll notice that these spaces are not just for fun. They also give students a chance to practice teamwork, socialize with friends, and stay active, which is an important part of life at this school. As we walk, comment down below any questions about what you see, whether it's about the outdoor facilities, school events, or how students use these spaces every day. We'll first make our way to the area behind the fence, where students like myself have been fortunate enough to get the chance, thanks to our PE teachers, to retrieve footballs that were accidentally booted over. Let's now keep walking towards the main playground. Here we have the table tennis area, where students can enjoy friendly matches, practice their skills, and have some fun during breaks or PE lessons. Some students may utilize the table to do transitions on it. Speedy will now demonstrate. Here is the left side area of the Muga. Back in the day, we used to hide football in the salt grit containers, and it is still an unpatched method of storing footballs. We played football in these Mugas. Here is the second Muga where we spent more time in. We played football here, ate our lunch here, and chilled on the wooden bench on the side. This would be the highlight of each day while you are at Pioneer Secondary Academy. Some may not know this, but an hour break feels like 5 minutes at Pioneer. Time flies while you are having fun at school. Let's move on to another part of the playground. This is where students love to play basketball. Finally, this is the last chill/eating area in the playground. It's beside the curved brick wall and some greenery on the other side. As we leave the playground behind, we'll make our way toward the car park at the front of the school, reflecting on all the classrooms, outdoor spaces, and activities we've seen today. And I hope this tour has given you a good sense of the learning, fun, and community that make Pioneer such a welcoming place. Here is another scenic view of the school. Let's make our way towards the stairs that would lead us to the playground. This massive bush is where footballs have often been lost and found, and at times it even had hidden paths and shortcuts that led up to the upstairs area. This is an oak log that was left here, and students can sit here if they want. Thanks so much for joining me on this tour today. If you enjoyed exploring the school with me, don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any future videos. Give this video a like if you found it helpful or fun, and leave a comment down below telling me your favorite part of the tour, or anything else you want to see next. And of course, share it with friends who might enjoy it too. Your support really means a lot and helps me keep making more content like this. And finally, a special shout out to all the spots around the school where Speedy Singh showed off his push-ups and pistol squats.
Pistol squats.
Hello, it dripping tsunami. If this beat believe I'ma eat. Never thought I'd be drowning in all this shit. Me no want me no real, I wanna treat. If your name is Asa, don't you lie with me.